I'm not turning it off. It's on.
Oh, the actual updates?
And then it probably needs to be rebooted twice or 3 times. But we don't have time for that. Because we're the only ones that use it now. All right. Okay. Who's doing it tonight, Colleen or Amanda?
The meeting today is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate after items marked on the agenda for public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you. First meeting of the month of January 2025. New year. Welcome everybody back for another wonderful year. And let's please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And a moment of silence tonight for all those who lost their lives in the wildfires in California, and all those who are supporting the efforts to put out the fires of the first responders. We pray for them and their families. And as always, thank those who gave their lives for us to serve our country and our town. Thank you. All right. Well, Happy New Year's to everybody. Here we go. And I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the December 9th, 2024 Town Board meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the December 9th Town Board meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
so moved. Motion to approve the minutes from the January 2nd, 2025 reorganizational meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 2nd, 2025 reorganization meeting.
Yeah, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Motion to approve the minutes from the January 2nd, 2025 special meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from the January 2nd special meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Authorize payment of bills of $179,661.41. I need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion to pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Anybody have any comments specifically on the agenda tonight? No comments? Reports of departments. Everybody on the board got reports from the department?
I did. Yes.
Yes, we got
Anybody
them.
have questions on reports from the department?
No questions, but I don't think the department reports are posted online, so we just want to
Yeah, I
probably
noticed
add
that
those.
myself, so we got to get those on there. I don't know, Danielle's pretty good with that, but. So we'll get that up on the website. I'm going to have a report myself for 2024 of our accomplishments for 2024 and where we're going to be moving forward. It's quite a list, but I'm sorry, board, but this is something we got to do every year. We've got to remind ourselves what we do. And what I want to say is I really want to thank our board for, working very hard to get a lot of these accomplishments done. I really want to thank our department heads and our employees, our committees, that all work very hard for the town of Marlborough and get a lot of these accomplishments done, because without them, it wouldn't get done. So I just want to thank everybody who's done it. But it's a long list, and I probably forgot some things, and there's a lot of things that we do that's just an everyday part of our jobs. But these are some of the things that I wanted to point out. So we completed the new community center, of course, big accomplishment this year. Moved the senior citizens to the community center. They actually meet 2 times a week now. We moved Zumba back there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We completed all the agreements for the CSX crossing at the Milton Landing, so that's all in place. Completed Phase 1 of the Milton Landing Waterfront Project. Completed Phase 2 of the Cultural Resource Historical Survey for the town of Marlborough. Completed repair of the Old Indian Trail. Completed the repairs of the Milton Landing North Pier. Completed all 3 contract negotiation extensions with the PBA, Highway, Water, and Dispatcher Union. Also completed the chief's extension of his contract this year. Completed acceptance of the garage donation from Mary Beth and Dan King. We thank them very much. That got completed. The Bayside Apartments were completed this year, and the Bayside Drive was dedicated for Town Road, which is being used during school time. Started the long process of migrating all our town reporting, banking, and payroll software over to Edmunds software, which has been very difficult, and we still got a lot of issues, but we're working through it. Upgraded all our phone systems with the ITC communications. Upgraded our internet and cable provider to Crown Castle Fiber from Spectrum. Updated our hazard mitigation plan with the help of Deputy Supervisor Appler. Updated the Ridgeline Code with the help of the CAC Committee and many community involvement input. Implemented new regulations in our town code for cannabis establishments. Completed acceptance of a 5.2 acres of land known as Young's Park. Highway Department expanded the parking at Young's Field and dredged out the streams to allow better water flow for less flooding on the playing fields. Started the installation of lights in Young's Field Park with the help of Ulster County grant secured by Legislator Corcoran for $100,000. We had 20 dockings by American Cruise Line and 5 dockings by C Street Cruise Lines this year. Put out the bid and started the Highway Water Department building renovation and expansion project. We upgraded our central Hutchins service at 1650 Route 9W to all underground service.
You lost your screen share.
Well, I knew that was going to happen. It's because the internet in here is not working properly.
Next project, upgrade the internet in the courtroom.
We're going to do that this year. That's definitely, I'm going to add that to the list. We're going to update the internet in here. Well, we will be because we're switching over to the fiber. It doesn't even want to connect. Well, we're going to move on because I don't want to hold us up here. I don't know why it's not connecting. We put out the bid to start the Highway Department building, I said, upgraded to the underground service. We converted 1650 Route 9W building over from natural gas to propane. We started the process to bid out and repair the town landfill cap damage. We extended the next AMP agreement for the solar farm that's going to be built at the landfill. We work with 2 major developers who are investing $100 million each into our town, Buttermilk Falls Resort Hotel and Marlborough Resort Latin Town. We had a very successful summer camp program once again. We had a very active recreation committee holding events such as the Easter hunt, flower planting in the hamlets, 4th of July concert and fireworks, Friday concerts in the park, trunk or treat, the first ever Christmas parade and tree lighting event, and the holiday Polar Express movie showings. Our Highway Department installed another 62 Hometown Hero banners, thanks to Legislator Corcoran's continued work in honoring our hometown heroes. We completed final reports for the Hudson River Estuary Program Grant with the help of Rosemary Wine for the Milton Landing Kayak launch. We completed installation of the 3rd bocce court at the park, which helped from Councilman Zambito and John Mack with the Bocce League members. We completed the DMV vehicle bus move to the town hall. We completed the new parking lot at the town hall for the DMV bus and public meetings. We successfully auctioned off the 2008 John Deere 2325 mower and tractor for $17,600, which goes towards the highway fund balance. We successfully put out and accepted bids for an upgrade to expansion of the Marlborough wastewater treatment plant. UCAT bus stop completed thanks to Councilman Couchy, Legislator Corcoran, and the Highway Department. We upgraded our emergency radio system equipment with Nycomco for the police department. not intentionally, but we did, because we have water damage. We had the first ever Resident of the Year award, Tom Schroeder, thanks to Councilman Counchy's suggestion. Awarded multiple Pride of Marlborough awards to deserving residents and successfully passed the 2025 budget, staying under the 2% cap. So grant money that we were awarded this year in 2024. Municipal Park and Recreational Grant from the county for $100,000. Municipal Solar and EV Infrastructure Grant from the county, $95,910. Sewer Improvement Grant, Ulster County, we received so far $213,175 from the $500,000 awarded. All these county grants were initiated by Legislator Corcoran. State and Municipal SAM Grant from Assemblyman Jacobson for $250,000 towards the highway and water renovation. State and Municipal SAM Grant from Senator Hinchy for $200,000 for the highway and water department building. Arbor Day Plan Ulster County Grant for $1,750. JCAP Consolidated Court Grant for $1,180. New York State Tech Grant for $99,000. PTS Grant, Public Traffic Safety Grant for $2,250. Buckle Up New York Grant for $750. Stop DWI Grant for $5,000. Stop DWI Specific Event Patrol Grant for $1,500. BVP Grant, Bulletproof Vest Grant for $2,650, and Urgent Seizure allocations of $25,000. So what all these grants add up to in 1 year, $998,165. So that's a lot of money that the taxpayers of Marlborough don't have to pay for. So I appreciate everybody's help on this. Chief, a lot of those grants through the police department. I know you never not miss a grant that comes up, so I appreciate that. And Tom from the legislature, we thank you to keep getting us these grants. And of course to Assemblyman Jacobson and Senator Hinchy for extending that money for us. So very great accomplishment. So what's next for 2025? I got a long list, but there's probably a lot more than I know we're going to end up doing. But complete the renovations at the highway and water building, of course. Repair the old post road at bridge. I don't know if everybody remembers, but the bridge was actually damaged in February. We've been fighting with the insurance company for almost a year. They finally gave us a check in December. Now it's too cold, so it's going to be in the spring. Complete the repair of the landfill cap. Complete the solar farm project at Nexamp at the landfill. Complete the upgrade and expansion of the Marlborough wastewater treatment facility. We applied for, with the help of Rosemary and Jerry Wine, a Restore New York grant of $745,792 for the Kent Farm demo and restoration project. Complete the light installation and electrical upgrades at Young Fields. You're going to like that, right? So we'll get that done. We're almost there. Complete the pavilion for the third bocce court and the Cluett-Chance Park, right, Gail? Complete the pickleball court at the Cluett-Chance Park with the Highway Department's help, which is also going to actually redo the basketball courts because that's part of where we're going to put it. Complete the new Milton Landing crossing with the CSX and DOT and Highway Department's help. Build new storage garage at Cluett-Chance Park for the upper level baseball fields. Rebuild the stairs at the walkway down at the Milton Landing train station. Right, Dave?
Yes.
Work with the CAC to look for grant and opportunities to build EV charging stations. Prepare to train new employees due to key personnel retirements this year. We got a few people retiring this year, so it's going to be a sad end of a year. But we got people in place, hopefully, that'll take over. We won't skip a beat. So we've been preparing for this. Look into the cost for building a pole barn structure at Young's Field for storage and year-round batting cages. Looking for grants that are available for this. Look into the cost to build a new 5-bay garage at 1650 Route 9W to store all the town equipment and emergency ambulance personnel offices and ambulance storage. Again, looking for grants for that. Continue to work with new and current developers to invest in our town, the town of Marlborough. Continue to look at our codes to make updates as needed. And continue, as always, to work with our employees, our elected officials, committees, and residents of Marlborough to make town a better place to live. So that's our achievements, and that's our goals for the year, and I anticipate with this board and our employees, we'll get, I predict 95% of that done, but I won't say 100%, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more in there that we'll come up with. But again, I just want to thank everybody. Happy New Year, and I'm proud of this board, and I'm proud of our community, so thank you. I would be proud of the internet working, but that's not the case.
Can't
so.
have it all, Scott.
Let me see if I can get this back up one more. I'm just going to try one more time, but Jerry, what can you do in the back? Can you unplug that and replug it? Yep. Anyway, I'm going to continue. Presentations. I don't have any presentations except Mickey wants to speak about. I asked her to inform the board on some of the EV things that are coming up. And I didn't want to make any decisions unless you guys get informed, so. Thank you, Mickey.
Happy New Year. Congratulations
Happy New
on a lot of accomplishments last year. That was great. So I did write a report, so I don't miss anything, so I'm just going to read off.
Go ahead.
Supervisor Corcoran asked the CAC to address an email he received from EV United. It cited funding opportunities for installation of an EV charging station up to $33,000. In response, I spoke with Ben LaPlante of EV United. They are a Connecticut-based company and provide turnkey services for EV chargers and solar panels. His email specified working with Central Hudson and NYSERDA to obtain funding for the EV charging station project. The timing seems quite appropriate with the work underway at the Highway Department building. It makes sense that we think about placement of a charging station on municipal property. The funding aspect is what I honed in on, knowing that's what the supervisors asked me to do, as well as obtaining an education on charging stations. In our short conversation with Mr. LaPlante, my understanding is that the technology is improving all of the time and will continue to do so. Tesla created their type of charger solely for their products. The other classification is called NACS chargers, which stands for North America Charging Station. Those NACS chargers adapt to both Tesla and NACS charging units. EV United deals with a NACS charging unit that they call an Omni charger that allows for charging on all EVs. There are also different levels of need, which I will refer to as speed of charging. Level 1 would be the longest time to charge and geared more for cars and personal usage vehicles. Level 2, which would be more for our needs, and level 3 that will give a full charge on an empty battery in 15 to 30 minutes. Each level, of course, is met with an increasing cost level. Marlborough's fleets would be considered level 2. Mr. LaPlante explained that Central Hudson is offering incentives up to $25,000. That is $12,500 for each dual charging station installed. Central Hudson would be providing money for the infrastructure costs to install the station. That is site inspection, planning, and placement based on the site proposed, trenching and wiring to the installation point of the port. So the question that I had there for future use is, has anyone from Central Hudson discussed their services or this opportunity with the town? Nope. The second thing that he explained was NYSERDA would be providing funding up to $8,000 per station to offset the cost of the charging equipment. My understanding is that would be per station. 3, the town will still have to incur costs based on the price of the station itself. The current quote from Mr. LaPlante for his company for a level 2 charger is closer to $12,000. So my understanding is that the town would then be responsible for about $4,000 per charging station. 4, EV United includes acquisition of funding, initial site planning, design, equipment procurement and selection, and the final installation. Or they will work with a preferred electrician contractor and supply just the charging equipment. I also contacted Hudson Valley Regional Council, and there are New York State companies to contact. They would be probably offering similar services, but since they are more aware of Community Smart Communities protocol, it makes more sense to actually pursue them. I have a phone call in, and we'll be having a discussion with their one of the representatives from Links Text. I think that's the name of it. As soon as she gets back to me, but I'm pursuing that as well. So I will give a copy of this report to all of the board members. There is a video demonstration which shows a little bit more about charging stations and what their Omni port looks like, and some information from them. In answer to your email to me, Mr. LaPlante unfortunately is going to be in Kentucky for the next town board meeting to give a presentation. So he won't be able to do that, but he's more than willing to create a PowerPoint or some kind of a...
Mickey, he's from Connecticut, you said?
Yeah.
So there's other people that you're saying that are local, right?
Yeah, so through Community Smart Hudson Valley Regional Council, they have a whole list of New York State approved companies
Yeah.
that do this. It makes total
Yeah, it
sense to
makes
go
more
with
sense.
them.
I
But-
mean, I get emails every day about people soliciting things.
Yeah.
So that one just caught my eye, and I thought maybe it was something, but if it's from another state, I mean, maybe it doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm just very glad because it gave me the opportunity to get educated on
Yeah.
a lot of this information. And I did tell him right off the bat, it's like, you're not local, and Climate Smart Communities has certain protocol. We might have to use one of their companies. So he understood that. But there again, if we're willing to get, if you wanted him to get information, I would pursue that with him. At this point, I think it makes more sense to go with local companies, but
Yeah.
that's
I
where
would
we are.
agree. I think you should go down the line of the local company, if there is. I mean, I don't know why Central Hudson themselves just don't do this direct. It still baffles my mind that they don't.
And this is what really intrigued me, because when his email specifically said that they were working with Central Hudson, and I'm going, in Connecticut? Like, where are they dealing? But he had absolutely no knowledge at all of Marlborough's, of New York State's Climate Smart Communities, or any of the NYSERDA details. So, as I said, it was a good springboard.
Yep.
And that I'll be happy to do more. So it brought up a lot of questions for me. This is just an overview, but why now? Because eventually the town will need a charging station, and because we can get the money now, that's a good opportunity for us. I don't know how much longer funding will be available. As a side note, I did get a notice the middle of December that the community energies, the CEC money that I was really expecting to be able to get for the town, the funding ran out. So all of that money is gone because all of a sudden it was gone. So it just brings home the need to really look at these grants while they're available. The other question I had that I will get answered: when will electric vehicles for municipalities be mandated? And when and where are they available? Because that's a huge question. And what is their cost? Because if it's electric, I'm sure it's going to be much, much more. Which brings me to the next question, is how is New York State prepared to assist the municipalities during this transition to EVs if they're mandating them? As far as the public goes, how do public users of EV chargers pay for the electrical charge? I believe it's probably just a credit card, but you want to know how easy it is, and who else can we be making these chargers available to? How easy would that be? And what is the demand for private users and residents to have a local public charging station? So I'm open to any and all of your questions. You can email me. We can talk about it now. As I said,
And
I
we're
will forward
looking
this.
at the community center for the site? Is that what we're looking at?
Both. I mean, I don't know if they did actually put in extra wiring in, or at least know a location where it would
We
be.
got plenty of power at the highway department. There ain't no problem there.
Right.
So we're thinking at the highway department?
There's
for-
600 amps coming into that building. So
So the only thing that, and
typically you
when,
got it, 220 amps, right? So we got 600. So we got plenty there. Even at the community center, we got plenty, because it's not used all day anyway, right? So, most of the time.
And there again, when he
But
talked to
I
us.
want to make sure when we're looking at these people, remember when I told you in our meeting, I want to make, we're looking at saying, how do we do these at no cost, right?
Yeah, I get it.
That includes, how do you hook up the electric, how do you get to the building, how do you get, this is where this has got to go, in my opinion. I mean, for us to invest $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and not know who's going to use it or not use it locally, that to me is like, I'm not sure if we would, I'm not going to speak for the board, but I'm guessing the board might not be happy about that. But
But that is part of what intrigued me in my conversation with Ben, was that the initial process would be having Central Hudson representatives come out and show where it would be.
Yep.
Like for example, in my vision, at the Highway Department, for example, could there be a charging station closer to 9W where travelers could just go and just to top off, similar to a gas, you want to top off your tank just so you get to the next station. So there might be, since that is the only town-owned property on 9W, if we had a charging station available for travelers, then where would that have to be? So the site planning would be important. And even if we didn't actually install a charger, just to get that kind of input from a Central Hudson engineer, that seems to me just important to get questions answered. So I'm more than happy to continue that investigation. And it also seems to me important that if it's going to cost, I mean, obviously, the cost for Central Hudson and for the charger station, if they're already telling us it's going to be more than $33,000, or more than, the 33, it's
And how many
12,500.
station is that? How many charging?
It's a dual, so it's two charging stations
So-
on the same pole.
So 2 charging stations, you're looking at $33,000. Is that what you're saying?
If I did the math correctly, as I reread this several times, Central Hudson would be giving up to $33,000 for 2 stations, so it would be like, they would be giving up to $25,000, and $8,000 would be coming from NYSERDA. So it would be $12,500 per charging station. So if you're looking at a charging station costing about $22,000, if we can get 75% of that paid for. And then I don't know if there's other funding available through other, I just got a hint today at about 3 o'clock from my Hudson Valley Regional Council resource that there are other opportunities within the 2025 availability. So it might be that we can get even more than just those 2. So I'm looking at it.
Mickey, I have a question.
Yeah.
In your discovery, if you could maybe ask this, is there an opportunity to upcharge the service a bit and make some revenue back for the town, or potentially look at, not upcharging residents if they have proof of residency, but out-of-town travelers, maybe there's a surcharge that then comes back to the town and brings the town a little bit of revenue to offset these initial costs?
Great question.
I'm not sure
Well,
you should consider not charging residents because it's a maintenance fee for these, right?
Fair.
They don't last forever.
Yep.
And I do have some experience with charging stations over in Fishkill, that are Tesla superstations, there's 12. I can attest that they're always packed,
Okay.
always. Even sometimes in the middle of the night. I have no idea why, but they are. I don't know how it works over there, whether the town makes money on it, but it was, they were installed right next to the old movie next to Chipotle. They're on that side. Another thought I throw out there, and the more I think about it, I'm not sure of the aesthetics, but the row out in front of the town park that is currently not paved, because there's telephone poles right there that you drop the electric from with a simple transformer, and you wouldn't have a far run. Aesthetically, though, how would that look? I'm not sure. But in terms of the thought about that place, that is how we get that front parking lot paved.
you're always thinking.
Good
2 for
thinking.
1, right, Jerry?
Well, especially if you upcharge. So say, I don't know, say it was $1 per charge that the town got. And I don't know that
See, I don't know how it works either, that's why I asked. My opinion would be, Central Hudson comes in, they put a meter in, they put everything in, it gets all billed to them, and they can make all the money they want. I don't care, but as long as it don't cost us a dime, that's the way it should work. But how it works, I know it doesn't work like that, right? But they should have their own meter and everything, and it should all go through them, but I don't know why they don't utilize them to do these things, you know what I mean? They're the ones gonna make the money off it. They're the one charging
Right.
for the electric.
Right.
So why wouldn't it be an incentive for them to put these in? I guess there's not enough electric cars out there as of yet to be an incentive to do so.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason.
Well,
All
I
right.
envision that most of these charging stations are for travelers, because anyone who has an electric
Yeah, most
car
people that come
that
in,
is locally, they
they
have their own setup already at their house, they're not gonna go. And,
So-
as a matter of fact, I already know, the few of them that I know, they have everything set up already, they probably have solar, they
Right.
got batteries and, you know, Telsa batteries, and everything is, you know, right off, they
I have
generate everything.
I have friends who own 2 electric vehicles, and they travel regularly to Canada. So they charge at their home. They know how many miles they can go. They have apps that tell them where the chargers are.
Right.
They stop at this regular place because they know just about there they're going to need to get recharged. They go and have lunch for 30, 45 minutes. They charge their battery. They go back, they go to Montreal, and then they use the charging station there.
Sometimes they have to go out of their way to know to get to the charging
Well,
station.
but I do think that, and I don't know, I haven't looked at what the county has in store to increase the number of charging stations. And perhaps, I don't know if there's money available from the county to do charging stations. That would be on top of what we could get.
The incentives you're talking about here are based on exactly what you're saying, who gets the income. So the installation and granting or funding ultimately ends who gets the funding in the end. There's more money up front from the town if the town gets the income from the units. There's less money up front, and sometimes almost no money up front, if the installer takes all the profit from that installation of that machine. So that's what we start with, is who's getting the profit from the unit itself. And that's where the funding varies from, again, an install of $2,000 out of your pocket or $10,000 out of your pocket. That number fluctuates based on the income. Who's getting the income? That's one. The county has done some studies, and Marlborough is an area where it would be lucrative because, again, there's charging stations, obviously in Newburgh, there's charging stations in Kingston and potentially some in Lloyd, not as many, so Marlborough has that attractiveness for the charging stations to be here. But they're always looking for that charging station to be at a site that they're going to sit there for 2 hours or 3 hours. That's why you see them most of the times at restaurants or facilities like that. Park the car, charge it, and walk away for 2 hours. So municipality sites are somewhat difficult in the sense that, are they going to park and just sit in the car? They potentially can if they need to. If they need to get from A to B and they're running out of juice. Can they plug in? Yes. Are they specifically looking for a municipality? Probably not, again, because it's a matter of, they want that car to sit there for 2 to 3 hours until somebody has something to do. But your numbers and your output of what comes out of pocket is based on basically who gets the income, right? It's pretty simple. If I'm going to get the income out of that unit, I'm 24/7, then I'm going to front the money. If you're getting the income, I'm really not going to put up lunch. I'm just going to take Nucerta, brands, I'm going to take whatever's given out there, but the installers basically want to be paid in full outside of that. So you got to look at who's making the profit on that machine. But Marlborough is a site that they would look at. Is a municipality site a perfect site? Not in the eyes of our studies of the town. You know, because again, there's nothing to do. They're going to sit there for 3 hours. Again, emergency site, yes, but these installers who are looking to put it in on their dime, who are going to make the income on it, aren't looking at a municipality site. They're looking at a restaurant or somewhere. They know they're going to be sitting there being charged full time. So that's what shows.
All right, well, that's good discussion.
It's great discussion.
I
Please,
don't know if we got anywhere, but we're starting to learn more stuff. That's good. So, yeah, well,
forward me any other questions, because
keep
I can
going.
guarantee you, that I will be speaking to
Well, I
at least
appreciate it.
3 more representatives within the next week.
All right, thank you.
Ricky.
You're welcome.
Anybody got anything on any old business that you want to discuss, or any new business you want to discuss? Nothing yet? Okay. Correspondence, I can't forget this time. Dear Supervisor Cork and members of Town Board, I'd like to request a waiver of the rental fee for the Marlborough Community Center on Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. South Side for the Marlborough Republican Reorganization Committee meeting from 6 to 8. I have verified the space is available on that date. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Thomas Coupart, Marlborough Republican Chairman. So I need, this is for the
I'll make
Marlborough Republican Reorganization Committee meeting, 6 to 8.
I'll make the motion to waive the fee for the community center for the Marlborough Republican Reorganization meeting. That was hard.
Got it.
That was tough.
You sounded like me.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. That's it.
That's
Nobody
it.
resigned yet
Ooh, big
this
day.
year. Not yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Public comments, anybody got any other public comments?
I really just want to get this on the record. This is in regards to a CAC conversation that we had as a result of the Orchard Views subdivision that's going on. So I sent this to the planning board members and I copied the town board members. At the December meeting of the Conservation Advisory Committee, it came to our attention that the project called Orchards on Hudson is before the planning board and is seeking approval for 103 townhomes. This is a major project with considerable impact due to its topography and its location, with only ingress and egress on 9W. Transforming what was once a quarry site into residential homes is a challenge. Those challenges have served as obstacles to the development of the 25 acres for almost 2 decades. The terrain and location bring many problems to be addressed. We discussed a letter of November 22nd that was addressed to the Town Planning Board from Scenic Hudson, and that outlined several issues, some directly related to environmental concerns. We share those concerns. Our town code and planning procedures do not allow public input until late in the planning process. We feel, however, that the size and the scope of this project requires careful attention to environmental issues that would be questioned and addressed by completing a full environmental assessment form under SECRA. We understand that the planning board or whichever group is designated as lead agency can require this. It is our hope that the planning board either calls for a full assessment or allows the town board to become lead agency and require the same. Our citizens deserve the opportunity to learn the full impact of the project in regards not only to those issues the CAC would be interested in, such as drainage, watershed, lighting, and effect on vegetation and animal habitats, but also the impact of traffic, connectivity, and hamlet businesses. We are pleased that this vacant piece of real estate is being considered for development. As a side note, was there any discussion that the developer might consider an alternate use? Our town really needs visitor housing. The property's proximity to the Falcon that welcomes people daily to musical entertainment could provide an ongoing tax stream, as well as employment opportunities if developed as a hotel or mixed-use development, including residential housing. It could also satisfy parking needs for the hamlet if a portion of the development is dedicated to that use, and we thank you for your consideration. I'm not sure, but it's my understanding that the planning board has already handled this. I don't know if they contacted anybody else to be a lead agency. But I just want to bring it to the board's attention that perhaps there could be some kind of procedural change where developments of this magnitude are also referred to CAC to see if there's anything environmentally that we should be looking at to help the planning board in its decision-making. I know that they do have their own procedures, and I know that that's separate from town board procedures, but I do think it's important that the public only having the opportunity to talk about anything about a development is almost at the very end where the planning board is going to give final approval. And it just seems like that's a waste of time for the developers if under that public conversation at the public hearing, there are changes that are being suggested. I know I witnessed that on a couple of other things that happened at planning board meetings recently. So I just bring it to your attention and hope that something else can be done to give us our job to do for you.
Orchard, I've had some conversation with the developers, so we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
I can't say anything else. We'll see what happens.
Well, and the purpose, as I said, the purpose was just bringing this to the attention that the CAC could be having a more important role if things, and the public could be given more of an important role if they were given the opportunity to talk at the beginning of a project of this size, as well as at the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, resolutions then. Let's get into it. Resolution 27, authorize the highway superintendent to sign an agreement. Supervisor Court proposes the following, whereas the town of Marlborough and the state of New York intend to enter an intermunicipal shared service agreement with the intention that parties may loan equipment, materials, personnel that may be available from time to time to other parties as set forth in this agreement, and whereas the town board and the highway superintendent have agreed on the terms of the agreement, have determined that it is the best interest of the citizens of the town of Marlborough, and whereas the highway superintendent has recommended that the intermunicipal shared service agreement attached hereto be approved, now therefore be resolved that the agreement is approved by the town board and the highway superintendent is authorized to sign it in duplicate. 2, the agreement is made pursuant to section 99-R of the general municipal law. And 3, the original of this assigned agreement shall be filed with the town clerk's office. Yeesh, I had tongue-tied there.
You sound like me.
Sound like you, Sherry. Just so everybody knows, this is an agreement we do whenever it expires. It's kind of like when we do intermunicipal agreements with other towns. This one's with the state of New York and the DOT. If for any reason they need to borrow a piece of equipment for emergency reasons, they'll ask us, and vice versa. So it's just a similar type of agreement. And moves for its adoption.
Councilman Molinelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa.
Yes.
Councilman Cowkey.
Yes.
Councilman Candido.
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran.
Yes, thank you. So here we go. Resolution, we're introducing a local law already. Resolution 28, to introduce a local law of the year 2025, amending various provisions of Chapter 125 zoning of the Code of Town of Marlborough as follows. Amending Section 155-1 terms defined, and an additional special use to Section 155-12E, HD Highway Development District. Amending Section 155-12.1 mixed uses. Amending Section 155-12.2 additional restrictions and uses, and adding a new Section 155-29.3 senior citizen housing. And just for everybody's awareness, I previously sent this to all the planning board members for feedback. Before we got this, I did get feedback, and we redid some of the changes based on the planning board's recommendation, also the code enforcement officer's recommendations. So hopefully we got a good code here. But this is for HD highway development, just to give you a background, and we're adding for special use for senior 55 and older housing, only if you have town water, town sewer on that project. So it's not going to really open it up for the whole highway, but it's specifically going to probably be more wrapped around towards the hamlets. But it's something we actually do need. We need housing for 55 and older, and we also need it not just for people to live in, but we also need it for our ambulance services to help bring down our costs. So It's kind of a twofold thing. So we think it's a good idea, and it fits our master plan as far as development. So Supervisor Corrigan proposes the following, and I propose it, and it's seconded by whoever wants to second it, maybe? Anybody?
I can
I'll
second it.
second
Oh,
Sherrida's going to second it this time? She got you, Manny.
sorry.
Introducing the following proposed local law to be known as local law number, and it'll be done, number will be numbered when we actually pass it, of 2025, entitled Local Law Number of the Year 2025, Local Law of the Town of Marlborough, Ulster County, New York, amending various provisions of Chapter 155 zoning of the Code of the Town of Marlborough, as follows, amending Section 155-1, terms defined, adding the additional section use of the Section 155-12E, HD Highway Development District, amending Section 155-12.1, mixed uses, amending Section 155-12.2, additional restrictions and uses, and adding new Section 159-29.3, senior citizen housing. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough that the Code of the Town of Marlborough, the Code is amending as follows. Section 1, Section 155-1, terms defined of the Code is amended as follows. Deletions are restriction and additions are underscored. Senior citizen housing dwelling units within which residency shall be restricted to permanent resident aged 55 years or more, or permanent resident advanced in age who requires the service of a living aid. Section 2, Section 155-12E, HD Highway Development District of the Code is amended to add the additional special use as follows. Deletions are stricken, additions are underscored. Senior citizen housing, basically that's all it is. Section 3, Section 155-12.1, mixed uses of the town code is amended as follows. Deletions are stricken, additions are underscored. And you can see that that section, all that's crossed out. Section 4, Section 155-12.2, additional restrictions and uses of the code is amended as follows. Deletions are stricken, additions are underscored. B, resident uses more than one residential unit shall be considered compatible with other combinations of use only in the C1 and C2 zones. That's where we want them. C, this foregoing restriction shall not apply to multiple family dwellings, adult multiple dwellings, senior citizen housing, affordable senior housing, or any other special section of the code of the town of Marlborough designed to make exemptions to the restrictions. Section 5, Chapter 155, the Code of the Town of Marlborough is amended to add new Section 155-29.3 as follows. Application may be made to the Planning Board for residential cluster development which provides senior citizen housing in which residential units contain 2 bedrooms or fewer and are served by municipal water and sewer system. A, lot yard and density regulations. 1, minimum project shall be 3 acres with a minimum lot width of 200 feet. 2, residential units may be attached or detached with designs to be approved by the planning board and consistent with density requirements. 3, maximum density shall be 8 units per acre. 4, all residential units may be served by the utility, public water, and public sewer service. 5, setbacks for the front yard and senior citizen housing projects for the senior citizen housing component of the permanent fixed-use project shall be a minimum of 75 feet. Each side yard shall be a minimum of 75 feet, and each rear yard shall be a minimum of 75 feet. B, planning board review required information and planning board review shall be set forth in 155-31 site plan review. Section 6, if any of these sections of the local law shall be held unconstitutional, invalid, or ineffective, the whole or a part such determination shall be deemed in effect impaired or invalid in remainder of the law. Section 7, pursuant to Section 22 of the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York, the local law shall modify and supersede any provisions of the state statute which are inconsistent with the terms of the local law. Section 8, the local law shall be effective upon filing with the Secretary of State, whereas the town board has determined that the section amended the town of Marlborough zoning law is a type 1 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and whereas that because only the town board can consider and adopt changes into the code, that is only involved agency, and the board hereby declares that it is the lead agency for purposes of coordinating the environmental review of this matter pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law. And whereas the town board has determined that the amendments must be referred to the Ulster County Planning Board for review, and recommendations pursuant to General Municipal Law 239-M, and whereas the Town Board refers this matter to the Town of Marlborough Planning Board to Town Code 155-49. Supervisor Corcoran advised at the Town Board that the pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York, it will be necessary to hold a public hearing upon this proposed local law. The following resolution, which was offered by Supervisor Corcoran and seconded by Councilwoman Sessa, was moved for its adoption. Whereas on January 13th, 2025, Supervisor Corcoran introduced the local law of the Town of Marlborough to be known as the Town of Marlborough Local Law Number of the year 2025, Local Law of the Town of Marlborough, Ulster County, New York. And I'm not going to read all that again. It's the same thing that was above. Resolved that the public hearing be held in relation to the proposed changes as set forth in forms of notice hereinafter provided, at which hearing parties of interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard. The public hearing will be held on, what's the date, Kyle? January 27th at 7:00 p.m. prevailing time, and that the notice of said meeting shall be published in the official newspaper of general circulation of the Town of Marlborough by the Town Clerk at least 10 days before such hearing, and the notice shall be as follow. And the notice of is the same thing I read up above. I'm not going to read it all again. It's the exact same thing.
Why not?
Because my mouth's getting dry. Take further notice that copies of the aforesaid proposed local law will be available for examination at the office of the Town Clerk of the Town of Marlborough, 21 Milton Turnpike, Milton, New York, 12547, at the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. on all business days between the date of this notice and the date of the public hearing. Take further notice that all the persons interested and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard on said proposed time and place for said, and that's where we said next meeting on the 27th. The foregone resolution was duly put to a vote, which resulted as follows.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli?
Yes.
Councilman Cowkey?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
One more. This ain't bad, though. Well, it's bad, but it's not a long one. It's bad because we got to put on, we have a deficit in our water rate. Resolution 29 to increase the Town of Marlborough water rate. Supervisor Clark proposes the following, whereas the Town of Marlborough needs to increase the water rate by $2.25 per 1,000 gallons, where the increase will be a temporary charge to cover a deficit. Be it resolved that the following rates are approved for the 2025 water billing rate: $15.85 per 1,000 gallons up to 75,000 gallons used, $16.85 per 1,000 gallons up to 150,000 gallons used, $17.85 per 1,000 gallons from 151,000 gallons used, and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Malinelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
Councilman Cowkey?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito?
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes. Ed, since you're late, you get to do the last thing.
I do it all the time.
Okay.
I want to adjourn the meeting at
7:54.
7:55.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor? Aye, so moved. Thanks, everybody.